What's going on, guys? Welcome to Time Dropper, episode 42 of our 24-minute recap. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe on YouTube at Time Dropper Podcast, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify, and of course, to follow us on all social media platforms at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Time Dropper Pod. So for tonight's episode, we're going to keep it short. The Lakers against the Timberwolves, first game without Anthony Davis for an extended period of time with the Achilles injury. And then the Celtics against the Nuggets. Guys, you saw them. Unfortunately, my stream cut out last night. The Wi-Fi wasn't good. There's some problems in our area with our provider. Sorry, I'm really sorry about that. As a result, I didn't get to watch the Warriors or the Nets games. But from what I heard, Kyrie and Harden played well, and everybody made threes. And the Warriors beat a Cavs team with Stephen Curry playing great as usual. I did actually get to catch the Wizards game for a second, and they actually just gave a different type of energy. Like, it was one of the first times this season that not only they'd won 2 games in a row, but they looked like a team. They looked like they were communicating. They looked like they were really trying. Westbrook was being aggressive to start the game, and then he got a little cold, but he made other plays. He made some really great passes, dime dropper style, like the dime dropper stamp of approval of really nice left-hand passes. Bertans, he's a real big X factor. We've talked about how poor he's been shooting the ball, but when he's going to hit those shots in transition from deep that he's getting paid the big bucks for, then things change for the Wiz. I also thought Raul Neto was pretty good defensively, making smart plays, and Beal, unstoppable. So 2 wins in a row for the Wizards, maybe starting to trend towards a play-in spot, maybe. But let's move on to tonight's games. The Lakers and the Timberwolves just ended in Minneapolis. The Lakers without Anthony Davis. I thought LeBron James started really well scoring the basketball, although the Lakers were way too sloppy in the first quarter. LeBron, especially, too many turnovers. I thought, it was mainly LeBron. Too many turnovers. Really poor defense by him as well in the first half. He just wasn't respecting Josh Okogie's jumper at all, and he made a couple of threes. I know that's probably playing the percentages, but Josh Okogie, 2 of 2 from 3. Both of them were just LeBron sagging off. A couple of offensive rebounds were got against him. Vanderbilt had 7 offensive rebounds. He was matched up with LeBron for the majority of the night. I thought Montrader in the first half, his defense was poor, very poor. But at least you got guys like Caruso, Dennis, Kuz. You know what you're going to get from them defensively. I didn't think THT was very good in the first half either. He has moments where he has a lot of tunnel vision and, just only focuses on getting to the paint. He's not a great outside shooter, and it's doesn't know what to do after that. And then there was a lineup where LeBron came out. This was in the middle of the second quarter, and the Wolves really started taking advantage of it. Montrader in pick and roll. Lakers weren't scoring in transition. The Wolves were making some incredible athletic plays. Vanderbilt, Anthony Edwards, they were playing hard. You got to give it to Minnesota. They were playing hard. Naz Reid, and then they were scoring in transition, whether it was McLaughlin, my favorite college player of all time, USC Trojan, Jordan McLaughlin, who was hitting threes. He had a really solid game. And the Wolves went up by, I think it was 8 points. But right before LeBron checked back in to end the second quarter, Dennis Schroeder was getting into his mid-range area and pick and rolls, getting to the basket. Then you had Markieff Morris starting to hit shots. And then LeBron came back in towards the end of the second quarter and hit some big shots. Getting to the basket. LeBron had some Magic Johnson shots tonight, a little running hook, and Stu was making a good point, man. If LeBron had put that in his arsenal earlier in his career, that's a great go-to move that a lot of players in the past had, especially the Magic, man. And you like seeing that from LeBron because he made some really nice, tough shots in that little in-between area. Not like mid-range in between, but like in the middle of the key, like 3 to 10 feet area in the paint, floaters, tough, in traffic. And, some crazy kickouts as well, just some classic LeBron, just one step ahead of the defense kind of plays. And I thought that they ended the half well. Kuzma was a big part of that. Dennis Schroeder was a big part of that. And a 1-point game going into the half. And then in the third quarter, the Lakers, the defense wasn't bad in the first half. I thought the Wolves were just making some big plays. Naz Reid was making some ridiculous shots, quite frankly, in the first half. Karl Anthony Towns, man, just doesn't really have a dog in him, but he's also had a really tough season, so you should cut him some slack. But he has so much potential in the world, and he's a modern big man. Not a dog, doesn't take the right positions on the court, not aggressive enough, doesn't command games at all. And the Lakers in the third quarter, I thought that they took care of the ball a lot better. I thought that Dennis Schroeder was really good. You know what you're going to get from him on defense these days, but coming off screens, hitting mid-ranges, then getting to the basket. Billy Mack said that he hadn't been to the line in 2 games. He got to the line a lot more tonight. And I also thought that Markieff Morris, best game in weeks, was hitting his open threes. The Lakers as a whole were just making their open threes. Even Marc Gasol had a couple as well, I believe. Yeah, 3 of 4 from 3 from Marc Gasol. Markieff Morris, 3 of 5. The Lakers shooting 11 of 26 from 3 really helped, 42%. They took the right amount of threes. KCP still struggling, though. KCP still struggling. It was a close game going into the fourth, but I thought that LeBron, along with Montrader, who was doing his Montrader thing offensively, finishing around the basket. And also, you know what I said about Montrader in the beginning? He used to, he can get blocks on guards and protect the rim well against guards. It's forwards and bigger guys he struggles with because he still has good explosiveness. You saw he got a couple blocks. I think he was on J-Mac in that game. I think Montrader finished with, he had a block. It was that one on J-Mac, but he had some nice plays at the rim. He finished with 17 points on 5 of 7 from the field and 7 of 7 from 3. But I really thought LeBron in the fourth quarter really imposed his will on the game, and especially to start the fourth, some tough finishes. And then, LeBron may be the best player in NBA history. I don't know about Shaq, though. Maybe Shaq at scoring when he's getting wrapped up. The dude's just so strong. He still somehow manages to get the shot up. And Montrader had a nice and one after that. And then after Markieff Morris made a corner 3, Lakers put it up to 9. But it wasn't without a fight. Anthony Edwards was making some threes. He had the best game of any Wolf, I thought, tonight. 10 of 20, 5 of 10 from 3. We've watched him play a couple times this season. The Timberwolves used to be a dime dropper team. So now with D'Angelo Russell out, they've officially been eliminated from the list. So you can cut them out. We're not focusing on them anymore. We haven't been focusing on them for weeks, quite frankly. But yeah, LeBron, he did his thing, and then he was making some plays, getting some good shots for guys. But I thought Dennis Schroeder really took the Lakers over the top in the fourth as well. I thought Kuzma, he only shot 6 times, but his impact can't be understated on defense. He had a block. He's just making the right plays, making the right decisions. And what's funny is Kuzma's been criticized for his IQ in the past, but he's probably a top 5 smartest player on this Laker team. I mean, LeBron, AD, Gasol, Caruso, Kuz. I'd say that's the 5 right there. I think I take right now Kuz's IQ over Dennis. Sometimes Dennis can get a little carried away and be a little bit too much, no pass possessions, high pick and roll with not a 1 pass in the possession. So overall, though, I thought LeBron did the business. I thought the Lakers tightened it up on D. And I thought the Wolves showed that, they had chances in that fourth quarter. There was a play that, for me, really killed the game off. It was Vanderbilt going to the basket and missed a clear-cut layup. I think it could have cut the game down to 3, and then the Lakers took advantage of it on the other end. So ultimately, the Lakers with a great performance, not great performance, a good performance. LeBron with a great performance, 30 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, boosting that MVP campaign once again. 13 of 20 from the field. His three-point shot has completely declined from the beginning of the season, but I like that he was being aggressive. If you're looking at it from a Laker fan perspective, he was taking it to the basket. Schroeder, 24 points, 9 of 15. I thought he was awesome, other than 5 turnovers. But a good win for the Lakers. They move on to 22-7. They win 112-104 in Minnesota. And now we move on to the Celtics. Man, hold on one second. Let me get some freaking water, man. My throat is dry. All right. Let's talk about the Celtics. The Celtics are on a losing streak, right? Coming off a game where we were really critical of them. And the Nuggets were missing Monte Morris. They were missing Paul Millsap. They were also missing Gary Harris and Will Barton. So 3 starters down and their best reserve, arguably. So Michael Porter Jr., JaMychal Green, and Facundo Campazzo checked in the starting lineup. But the Celtics, one thing I will say, there was more energy from the Celtics today. Like, they actually look like a real basketball team that, like, actually wants to win. And they were, talking more on defense, a little more locked in. But Nikola Jokic, an MVP candidate, but I think that their record's just not going to be good enough for him to be in the conversation for real. But he was cooking to start the game on Tristan Thompson. And a lot of it was actually pretty decent defense by Tristan. But, he's a skilled big man. Jump hooks, jumpers. But here's the thing. The referees were starting to get way too ticky-tack with Joker. Just like freaking in the playoffs. they called a foul on Peyton Pritchard at the 3-point line when Joker was posting up on him, and there was like no contact. I couldn't believe that. Jokic got blocked by Javonte Green, who I thought made a really nice little impact for the Celtics today on defense. He had a steal and got out and ran on a dunk, open dunk, and he's a high flyer. He even made an open three, but yeah, I thought that he was solid, but Jokic was getting every call. I thought they were protecting him a lot. But Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown did a better job in that first half of making shots and, just making their shots. You can say they're tough shots for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I thought Tatum took some ill-advised shots, made it a little too tough for himself. But overall, the thing is, those are stars, and stars make tough shots. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have both shown they can make contested jumpers, mid-range or threes. Jaylen Brown was much better tonight. It looked like his normal self, but Jokic was just keeping him in the game. You know what I'm saying? Jokic was keeping him in the game. I thought that the Time Lord in the second half especially was actually the best person guarding Jokic. He contested some of his shots well, and there was some plays on drop coverage on the pick and roll where he would show and then recover nicely to Joker and made life tougher for him. Jokic was starting to wear down as the game went on. He was just doing a little too much, and the Nuggets just didn't really have too much other than that. Semi Ojeleye playing good defense. He was a little still broke from three, 2 of 7 from three. And the Nuggets were just sticking around. But I thought that the Celtics did a good job of ending the third quarter and starting the fourth quarter before it got a little too stagnant. Jaylen Brown mostly, being aggressive, taking it to the basket, making his shots. And that's what it was all about really for me tonight for the Celtics, just making shots, adjusting. I thought Aaron Naismith came off the bench and gave some nice energy. He had 9 points, 4 rebounds as well, some good defense, 2 of 4 from the field. All his shots were 3, so 2 of 4 from 3. Thought Kemba was better, 17 points on 5 of 13. But Jaylen Brown ultimately was the one that was the player of the game for me today. 27 points on 11 of 20, 5 of 10 from 3, so he was really hitting from 3. The Celtics shot too many threes from you, though. 15 of 42, that's only 36%, just not good enough in my opinion. Can get better shots than that. I think that's part of the reason why, the Celtics the Nuggets were staying in there even despite all the injuries. But ultimately, a double-digit win, 13 points. You're going to take that if you're the Celtics. That's a win against a decent team. They still had Jamal Murray and Jokic, so you'll take that. All 3 of the big 3 finishing with 15-plus points or 17-plus points. And Tatum finished with 21, even though he didn't shoot well, 6 of 18. He still had 8 assists and 6 boards. He was 1 of 8 from 3, so don't really love that. 8 shots that out of 18 were threes. I know he makes them, but some of them were just a little overzealous, but the win is the win. That's all that should matter for Celtics fans. They're now, again, above 500, 14-13, and they move on. The Atlanta Hawks next. They've been in really poor form, but they're also a hungry team that hasn't won in a while. But honestly, Celtics got to take advantage of those. So we're going to end a little early tonight at around 14 minutes. That's it for me tonight. Now for 10 minutes, we're going to go to the live subscribers. Super Chat's turned on. Thanks for joining me. I know I'm not watching the Suns-Nets game right now. Kyrie Irving, by the way, resting with load management. I don't want to hear anything else. That's not lower back tightness. That's load management, and that's garbage. I saw somebody on Twitter said that they traveled to the game, flew out to the game because there's no basketball in L.A. So, the extra money that guy spent, he's not, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving aren't playing. Total bullshit, total disservice to the fans, total garbage, total bad product. Nationally televised games without 2 stars tonight. I hope that the Nets lose as a result. Again, too many players resting. I'm going to make a whole thread at the end of the season on Twitter about how many players have rested throughout the season and they're resulting in losses and not making it fun to watch. It's not good for the NBA. It's an entertainment at the end of the day. Anyway, whatever. Screw this shit. I'm done. On to the live chat. What's up, y'all? Second best team. By the way, Jay Love, dude, are you going to be one of those guys that can't stand to see LeBron criticized? Because you literally just complain all the time about that. Stop it, okay? He's not holier than thou. Second best team in the 2010s this decade besides the Warriors, the Heat, 2013. You kidding? That's a no-brainer. 2012, 2013 Heat. What's up, ZZ Visions? Yeah, I'm going live earlier. Yeah, I said that yesterday. Wolves blew the game. Jay, Seth, man, LeBron played well. You just trolling. It doesn't matter if it was too close. The Lakers just needed to win. Guys, they won the game. What are you panicking about? All that matters is the results right now without Anthony Davis. That's all that matters. We'll see, guys. Yeah. Okay, Simon. I feel you on that. 2005 had more talent than 2020, Andrew. I feel that. It's just smarter players, in my opinion. Yeah, where's the GOAT, Roberto Espino? Goat man, goat man. That's him. Where the fuck is that fool? Timberwolves are not a good team. Uchicha Rain. Are you crazy? Goat man, goat man. Yeah. I gave Kuz shout outs. Yeah. Of course, I think Donovan Mitchell should be an all star again. Oh, you're saying a starter? I don't know. Donovan Mitchell she was an all star last year, so I don't know about that. Jokic has been the best player this year. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Embiid has been better than him. Yeah, Suns over Nets. Will the Celtics continue this streak of unity and energy? You know, I'd hope so for their sake. I think they will. I think they will. It's just a matter of next game, one game at a time. Yeah, teams are inconsistent with that vibe this year, and Jaylen Brown has been the most consistent. Yeah, no, Jokic has the right mentality to take over games. He affects games. He controls games. Yeah, Luka is overrated. Nuggets aren't really a mess, I don't think. I disapprove of your shirt. World champs, baby. Don't forget it. Ooh, 14 Spurs are good, but I'm still going with the Heat. Maybe you're right. Maybe the 14 Heat. 14 Spurs. Yeah, Keith wasn't a liability tonight. I've seen him be a liability at times, but he was good tonight. What should be the most important factor? It's just playing. It's winning mixed with performance. I'd say winning is the most important factor though, because that's how they do it. How much of the resting do you think is a result of the playoffs, the regular season transition for teams like the Lakers? It's not just the Lakers; it's every other team though. So it means nothing. It has nothing to do with it. You complain when they talk about Kawhi, so why can I? When do I complain about Kawhi? I'm the first to criticize him. Stop. Yeah, the Spurs should have beaten the Heat. I don't know if it's Kyrie. I think it may be on the organization too. We got to give the organizations hate too for doing this BS. A stereotypical Afghan person? Well, I'm not Afghan, but no, I have to do something little H. Not today. I can't stream. The worst run franchise of the decade is the Sacramento Kings or the Knicks. No, the Kings. Who do you think is the best shooting guard in the West now that Harden's in the East? Devin Booker. I feel like Jamal Murray is inconsistent. Yeah, he is. He's always been. And the bubble is showing he's kind of an imposter. No, I don't think the Suns are a real threat to the Clippers or the Lakers. Man, see, you have a Lakers fan that's an Angels fan. You guys going to call him out the same way you do me, little bitches? No, it's not worse than being a Clipper fan. Angels have a championship. Yeah, Pistons aren't bad either. No, Hornets made the playoffs a couple times. I agree with what Draymond's. Here's the thing. I think the players cry way too much nowadays. They have the most power of all. But I do agree that I don't think it's right for teams to announce they're going to trade someone and then just sit. They're just supposed to sit there. You feel me? And they want to play. That's whack to me. Very whack. So I don't like that. I agree with Draymond on that. In that case, I think they have to go better about them about trades. Kyrie. I mean, why can't he lead the league in scoring? He doesn't have the dog of Iverson, but I don't think he's been on a team where he's been forced to score that many points like that. You know what I mean? He doesn't need to. He's always had good teams, except for in the beginning of his career when he did score a lot. But Iverson's just better than him. Grant Hale or Jeremy Grant? Sport reactions. Is Zion a top 5 power forward? Yes, I guess in today's NBA he is. He has to be. He has to be right now. I know the Angels have been bad, but that's not worse than the Clippers, bro. You have to understand the Clippers are the worst in like all of American sports. Can a shooting guard lead a team in the finals? Of course they can. Of course they can. The last one was Dwayne Wade. Just no one else. Not many shooting guards are good. Good enough, I guess. The best we have is Harden in this generation. Facts, but what has that success led to, though, J Love? We haven't made the conference finals. And it's not if sports was only the last decade, maybe that's not how sports has worked. That's not. It's been around for a lot more years than that, than just a decade. So no, history matters and affects the present. Top 5 power forwards currently. I would say my top 5 power forwards currently are. Are we counting Giannis or are we not counting Giannis? Because Anthony Davis, Sabonis, and Zion and Randall are the top for me. Yes, Julius Randle's definitely an all-star. I don't think the Browns are worse than the Clippers, man. They've made it to the. I'm pretty sure they made it to the AFC championships, and they don't have Super Bowls, but they have NFL championships. We have nothing. We've been a laughing stock. And plus, you don't understand. The Browns are the number 1 team in their own city. That's a big difference. The Clippers will always have that, and that's worse than anything. Because there's no win-win for us. It's lose-lose every time. Every time. No, yeah, Lions are better too. I don't know about that, Jackie. That's too much of a what if. I'm not sure. Do you remember how bad the Clippers were? Just saying. Do you remember? Or are you only talking about now because you're younger? Do you remember how bad we were? You know we were getting made fun of in movies? I can name the quotes. It wasn't a joke. Or it was a joke, I should say. Yeah, I do think LaMelo's the rookie of the year so far. Yeah, hey, at least you guys made the AFC Championship ZVZ Visions a couple years ago. The Mariners have a freaking World Series, don't they? I think. I may be wrong, though. I don't know. I'd have to rank my top 10 defenders on OG Anunoby, but he's good. What team are you a fan of, little H? Clippers since Norman, Harper, and Manning days. I feel that. I am a Rams fan, yes. Angels are number 2 as well, but you have the reason I go with Angels is because they won the World Series, but they're also not in LA, they're in Anaheim. Well, first of all, Clippers never, yeah, because 0-82 doesn't happen in basketball. We went the basic equivalent. They had Barry Sanders. Okay, Tony Lee, be quiet. So then why have you been watching basketball as long as me, Michael George? Do you remember the days of 13,000? You're a Steelers fan? Yeah, they do. Okay. Fred VanVleet. Not sure. Raptors fans can tell me more. The Kings still had the 2002 Kings. Still have the 2002 Kings. That's more than we've ever gotten. If we make the conference finals, then maybe we'll probably be better than the Kings. But I don't know. They had some good years, man. They had some good years. Yep, before we drafted Blake. There we go. Chargers are pretty. No one likes them here. They weren't supposed to come. Okay, then, Michael George, then you shouldn't dispute this. Do you know history? There's no dispute about this. All right. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, J Love, except for the '06 clips. First of all, I'm not forgetting Elton Brand. He's the reason I was a fan. Relax. I don't care what you were born a Laker fan. Big Ben or Dennis Rodman? I don't know. I got to watch Dennis Rodman. I'm not a Chargers fan, Lil H, but I guess. Best center of the 2010s? Probably Marc Gasol. I think Mark was the best. Not saying much. The weakest decade of centers in history. But anyway, D'Angelo's a good player, lacks focus, lacks discipline. All right, guys, I'm out. Peace out, boys. Tomorrow. No, I don't watch a lot of baseball. Only the Dodgers and only a couple innings and then in the playoffs. Peace.